Maximizing profits in dual-purpose wheat systems involves trade-offs between grain production and stocker gain. The critical decision is determining when to stop cattle grazing on wheat. By identifying the first hollow stem growth stage, producers can dramatically increase their grain yield while still maximizing their gains for cattle. So, what is first hollow stem? First hollow stem, or FHS, occurs when wheat growers can first identify the hollow stem growth stage above the root and below the developing head. At this point, the wheat head is still below the soil surface. Historically, producers terminated cattle grazing by using a calendar date. However, each growing season is different, making calendar dates unreliable in determining exactly when to stop grazing. Allowing more grazing days past first hollow stem can enhance stocker profitability, but usually not the combined profitability of both wheat and cattle. In fact, there is no way cattle can make enough money in the last 2 weeks of the grazing season to recover from wheat production losses. A 4-year study performed at the Marshall Wheat Pasture Research Unit revealed the economic impact of delaying grazing termination. Once the FHS stage was reached in ungrazed wheat, continued grazing resulted in fields with dramatic grain yield reduction. The longer the cattle grazed, the more dramatic the reduction. First hollow stem has occurred as early as February 20th and as late as March 25th. The biggest influence on the date is the weather from January through February. You should begin looking for FHS with the first flush of growth in late winter. It is important to check plants where cattle are not grazing because grazing delays the onset of FHS. In grazed wheat, reduced grain yield can occur before first hollow stem can be identified. Using ungrazed wheat provides a safety margin. To check for FHS, dig up a few wheat plants. Peel back the older leaves and determine if you can see tiny new roots beginning to form. Cut them off just above the root system. Starting from your cut, carefully make a vertical slice as near the center of the shoot as possible toward the youngest leaves. Look for the developing head, which will be just above a series of yellow or green crossbands. Next, determine if any hollow stem is present between the developing head and the root system. If the hollow stem is between 1/4 to 1/2 inch long, the wheat plant is at FHS. This plant is beyond the first hollow stem growth stage. The hollow stem is longer than 1/2 inch. This plant doesn't have any hollow stem visible. The developing head is immediately above where the roots were cut off. Rather than watching the calendar, watch the wheat. Identifying the right time to remove cattle is your key to maximum profitability in the wheat stocker cattle management system.